donor beetle just donored. I was gonna weld in braces and cut here and take it out as one big piece, but the heater channels are, you can see, they're completely gone, as is most of everything with this car. Is just rust. I didn't film any of it because it was just a series of me cursing and bleeding. But I have to cut this stuff out so that it can sit over the axle and in between here. So it's going to be quite a bit cut out. That's why I wasn't too worried about the bottom being rusted, because the rest of it's in pretty good shape. But yeah, it's exciting just because I'm, another step closer. I'm still gonna have to cut out from the B pillar back some, because I need that for the back of my doors to go into, and then that'll attach to the bus half of it. And then this whole thing here gets cut off because I have another roof that hasn't been butchered like this one, and I wanted to chop it anyway, just not sure how much. Nothing extreme, but it does gonna come down a bit. Anyway, I'll stop breathing heavy on this video since it's not that kind of video. All right, so I have to find the bolts, but I'll bolt the hood back on so I can get an idea of where this goes. I had to cut this whole tray out here just because it was too wide to fit in between the parts of the frame here. It took up too much space. I don't really need it. I'm gonna have a brace that I'll go make across here, and then the hood's gonna be held down. There's a strap that goes through the handle. Anyway, I gotta find the bolts so I can bolt the hood back on, and then I can get it in place and then kind of measure, get this in the right spot, so then I can start working on some bracing. I got to take this section out so that I have a little bit of body to work with, matching up to the bus body, but also so I have my B pillars, even though they're pretty, well, all that's gonna have to be welded anyway because I'm gonna chop the top, so that's gonna be different somehow. But yeah, there's not a lot that I can salvage out of this. I thought I could keep that beam, but the beam is completely rusted through here and in here, so it's like one speed bump and it would be gone. So I'll probably salvage the hubs, but that's about it. All right, it's on stands, and I'm back to stuff in the way, but that's where I wanted the hood to come down, and so the body comes here, and obviously I'm gonna have to weld in something to kind of come back down, but I haven't quite figured that part out yet. But now it's starting to look more like what I want. So here you get a better view of what I'm thinking. The hood's just sitting on top, it's a little crooked. But, and then, so once I get these perches, well, the body figured out, I can weld the little perches on for the shock mounts to go to, and that'll help with some stability and get that done. They're gonna get painted yellow. The body's gonna be white with a graphite top and some old 50s hot rod paint detail. Well, my donor car donored again. I had to take this section out here because I needed the door pillar, like lock and all of that. And it gives me something then, enough, sheet metal here. Hey, Piper. It gives me enough sheet metal here So I have something to work with the bus body. I didn't really think about shooting a video before I started or whatnot, but basically I started this point right here is where this part of the body comes down, and so it's going, this is support for the body, and then I'm going to have 1x3 come back, have a piece come out, and I'll have a couple braces in here for all for support, and then since I don't have the heater channels anymore, I'm probably going to weld a piece of the 1x3 flat to connect the body, in place of where the heater channel is. So it comes back and to the B pillar. So this build is going to be a series of compromise. So I had to get this plane here level so the rest of the car is not off. I didn't want to do a rake, but I also had to make room for that big slant 6. So what I did was I made a brace that goes across the body points there and gives me the lift up to kind of hold it for now. I think I'll make something a little nicer looking, but for now that gives me the support for the front. So it's now a box. Well, no, sorry, it's a 3-sided box, not a open. I don't know. It's now got a little bit more support, and I can kind of move it around a little bit too. These little perches here, I don't know what the heck I was doing. I think it slid back on me. I had marked on the front where the front needed to fall, only to figure out that when I did all of this, I had it too far back. So what I did is I put a little welded in this tab here to kind of hold it, and then I'll figure it out as I go. But yep. And it does sit higher than I want, and obviously I'm going to have to come in the parts that I cut out of the Beetle to get in here. I kept them, so I'll end up putting some of that back and closing up the engine bay. But it's such a shame that it's not. I would like the body to sit probably 6 inches lower, which you could achieve by, I may end up cutting the frame and extending this down, which would drop the frame down. But I don't know. I still needed quite a bit of room for that engine. Like, I chose the engine because it's unique, kind of cool. Not unique. It's pretty common. Yeah, it's cheap, super reliable, more horsepower than a Volkswagen, and it was cheap. I got the entire drivetrain for $200, engine and transmission, everything. So, and I wanted to be able to make the joke, Moparvergnugen. That'll be the unofficial name of this car. All right, hopefully you can start to see the frame, or clearly you can see it, but you can see my intent. I'm probably gonna add like one here, maybe, 2 more pieces just to give it a little bit more structure. I had to order new hinges for the car, so I'm gonna put the doors on when the hinges come, and then I can put the latch and the back piece on, and that should come to right here. I measured it, and then what that does is that lets me put the bus body on. but basically I'm thinking my axle is going to be pretty much right here, so I'm only going for 2 seats, and then the frame will come up and over, and obviously this piece will get cut out and replaced with something that kind of goes for the transmission, the drive shaft rather. But yeah, so it's starting to come along. It still bugs me how high it sits, but maybe once all of the parts are together, it will look better. We'll have to see. But I'm pretty much done for the weekend.